All right. What's up, guys? Down here in the bottom right-hand side of this best of three, we've got Liquid Clem. His opponent in the bottom left. That was bottom right. This is bottom left. I know my directions. In the west of the map, it's Solar. This is, of course, one of the series which became super highly recommended to me straight out of the Asus Rogue tournament. This was, I believe, Group B, and this was actually the deciding final match of the group. So these two players actually played in the opening round, and apparently it was a really fun, close, hard-fought victory 2-1 to Clem. But then Clem ended up, I believe, losing to Maru, and Solar lost to somebody else, and then won against somebody else. So they ended up fighting here for the final spot to get out of the group into the bracket stage. And honestly, I've had so many players recommend both of their series, and I was like, guys, I only have so much time. There's so many good games that come out of this tournament. Like, which one do I pick? And I just threw it out to Twitch chat, essentially, and most people said this second series, their rematch, was even better than their first match. But everyone said they're both incredible. They're both really fun. So we'll see exactly how it goes. Clem is, of course, in the bottom right of Blackburn. Solar's in the bottom left. And remember, guys, for those who don't know, Clem is an up-and-coming... Well, sorry, not up-and-coming, but Clem has become and established himself as the best TVZ in the world. Still struggles a little bit with TVT and TVP against the top 5 players of those respective races in the world. And I say struggles in that he'll still take maps off them, but he's not consistently beating Maru yet, who's the best Terran in the world. So Clem's really good, and in this matchup, if you don't fuck with him like Dark did back at TSL, where Dark literally just refused to drone up and basically massed units and kept waiting for Clem to move out and then backstabbing him. So he kind of had like a prepared strategy to take advantage of Clem's trademark aggression. He kind of waited for Clem to step into bad situations and then took advantage of it. If you just play standard, it's not going to go too well against him. Now, this is the Clash opening here, I believe, for Solar. The very quick third hatch, building the Queen on the natural. 4 Zerglings coming out. And the first Reaper is making its way across the map. So basically, long story short, if you play standard against Clem, it's a death's errand. Is that a line? Is that a phrase that popped in my head? It's a death sentence. You're asking for trouble if you play a standard game against him. Problem is, Solar excels in standard games, and he excels in kind of late game, especially in this matchup. He regularly beats Maru with Broodlord and Fester in the end game. Unfortunately, what do we see? Right? People proxy racks this shit out of Solar. Solar usually fucks people up really, really hard in game 1 of a series. And then you see, like, whether it's TY, whether it's Maru, over the last year, the number of times we've seen Solar wreck someone in a game, and then they proxy racks him out, or they get him with like a cheeky Hellbat timing or a quick Marine tank push. It's very common. So I think Solar is very good at winning the late game. Can he go toe-to-toe with Clem, though? Because I don't think Clem's really a proxy rack sort of guy, especially here playing cross-server. They're both going to be playing, of course, on a middle US server, probably Central US or Western US. They probably swap between the two, between games, which means both players will be playing with probably about 140 ping on average, maybe 130. Ooh, Reaper doesn't quite get any more Zerglings. He's killed 2, though, so great micro. And Hellions coming across the map. This is not a third command center build, guys. Just a quick second gas and an early medevac. We're going to see a Hellion drop to start things off. Keep your eye on that production tab. We might see an armory pop in there as well. It would have to go down pretty soon, though, if he does want that to kick in. Oh my god, he's going to dive? Okay. Oh, we know his link speed's not done just yet. It's going to kick in 5 seconds, though. So you've only got a little bit of time in here. He does take the Zerglings out. Now he's going to see if he can get some shots on the drones. Drones go for a bit of a surround there. They decide to pull back out of it. 2 drones go down. Queens and the Zerglings will clean this up. I mean, that's only a Hellion and a Reaper he sacrificed. He will lose this one as well, though. Solar Zerglings, hungry, horny, and they will get revenge. So they do take him out. Now, a Hellion drop does go out. Overlord hasn't seen this just yet. And you're going to notice, guys, he's going to queue to drop. Where does everyone drop? Right here. Because that way you dodge the boosty zones, or the slow zones, I should say. Stims on the way behind this, a Liberator and more Hellions. Hyper-aggressive opening from Clem in this game, guys. He really wants to punish Solar. Solar's only got 4 Zerglings. Oh my god, the drones are stacked. Anyone call for some barbecue? Shit. Okay, he missed the pickup on that. That was miss micro there from Clem. He miss microed the medevac. He only got 5 workers. That could have been a lot worse for Solar. Good scramble with the queens, the zerglings, but a little bit of an unfortunate missed execution there. Medevac does have to retreat deep in the red. Most of the Hellions survive though, and he's going to recycle these units, guys. He's only now swapped the factory. So he's got 5 Hellions. He's going to group those up, poke around the front, and the Liberator, of course, will slide around the back. Now remember, on this back, lots of dead space. You can come in here, or over here. There's so many angles, and you can even hide in the back of the main. So once you do get to that left or far right edge of the map, there is a lot of angles to work. And look at that, pulls back, lets him put the creep tumors down, goes back in, gets one more. Doesn't want to take too much damage though. Solar already got a queen and a spore in position. And Clem there, he's going to siege up. This is a very good siege position, but with the spore finishing, he's got to be careful. Solar wants to punish him on the disengage. Clem very smoothly pulls on out. Oh, the Hellions driving to take advantage. The Lings are a little slow. He's going to sack the Hellions there. He does take out the Queen while Solar's distracted. 9 drones go down. And the Liberator's still there hanging out for later. Great play by Clem so far, guys. That brings up to 16 workers killed. Now, the way you take advantage of a Terran who plays like this is you need to not miss a beat on your creep spread. He gets the Liberator finally. Solar's been so distracted, though, that these tumors have not spread in a little while. There we go. So, worker count doesn't look great for Zerg. This looks like a good start for Terran, but what is the thing? He's given up map control. He's quickly trying to get out this 8 Marine drop because he realizes he needs something over there. Otherwise, Solar will be able to get the creep past the halfway point of the map because he's given up the Hellions. He's given up that early pressure, and that's the sacrifice you make. That's why it's so dangerous to dive against a Zerg, because you could be like, yeah, cost for cost, that was good because you traded evenly and you killed drones, which is good because those are mining units. But then if Solar is really consistent with his creep spread, which it looks like he's doing a pretty good job with, he can punish you for giving up map control. And that's why it's important to kind of have as little downtime between Hellions on the map and then Marines on the map. Goes for the 4th base. He's not going to get it, but he saves every single Marine. And of course, he can work this angle. Solar here has opted to go for the death trap, guys. So this gold base, for those who don't know, this is like a big sack of white powder for a drug addict. They cannot say no. They see it and they're just licking their lips and they're going, But it's a fucking trap. It's laced with all sorts of messed up impurities. It was mixed in a bathtub by someone with fucking warts and fungus on their feet. This base is a trap. It is a trap. And Clem, seeing that, he's like, oh, you took the gold? He's like, all right, idiot. I'm going to go siege up behind that. And Solar, I mean, he's got pretty good creep, but it's not quite out there. He's going to need to either backstab really hard and say, okay, give up the base and counterattack, or he's going to need to swamp this army right here, right now. But uncharacteristically slow Baneling speed for Solar in this game. And he's going to go for the counterattack. Okay, you're going to need to evacuate those SCVs very quickly, Clem. The tank is not there on the high ground just yet. It's sieging. He loses his factory with a quick cancel. On the other side, gold base is going to fall. But look at all these depots. This might actually work out for Solar. Oh, he's losing a lot of Zerglings, though, so it is a trade. And as more Marines pop out, I think Clem can retake that because Marines in a mineral line in a nice enclosed area, very good versus Zerglings, especially with that tank to fall back on. Solar wisely going to disengage. Solar loses his gold base, takes out. It's 3 base versus 3 base. Neither side inflicting critical damage. Yeah, you got 7 worker kills, but as a Zerg, you really do need that 4th base. Without that, you're stuck here on equal workers and something you never really want to have as a Zerg. On the other side, though, remember, even though Clem's found a great inroads in the top, creep spreading behind his army. And that's the sign of a great Zerg player. Oh, he's going to come in for a big surround. Dude, the Banelings, Omega clump there. Picks up the Marines and saves them. These tanks focus fire the Banelings. Dude, he just killed 11 Banelings, 75 Zerglings have gone down. The Marines simply redrop and re-engage. He's also clearing the creep in the bottom. The thing which I was really giving Solar props for is now being dealt with by Clem. Clem is all over him. Very quick carapace upgrade +2 is on the way for Solar. Oh, these guys are still pushing. Oh, Clem, you mad lad. And this is the problem. If you don't have a lot of queens or a lot of mutas out there, he's able to push like this. He's going to pick up and save those at the same time. He's dropped across there. A few Banelings get some hits, but not amazing just yet. Solar, though, on the way to Hive, on the way to Hydrogen. He's trying to get up to Lurkers. 4th command center start. 2nd factory finally being built round 2. And non-stop tank production for Clem. I think Clem realizes that on this map, Solar wants to play Lurkers because it's such a front-on map. This bottom path, so important to clash armies head-to-head. Lurkers very good at fighting against Terran in a frontal area. But he's also going to add drilling claws behind that. So who knows? Maybe he does add the reactor. Oh, he does. Okay, so he's going to go the tank Widowmine mixture. Widowmine's great versus Clumpling Bane. Tank's very good versus Lurkers. And and Banelings and Hydras and that sort of stuff. Marines here getting a nice little trade. Bit of focus fire, but it's got to pick up and leave. A little slow on the pickup. Finds this protuberance in the middle of the map and says, "Oi! How dare you spread creep here?" And that's about it. Once this tumor goes down, which he'll find now, I mean, Clem's completely shut Solar's map vision off. And honestly, if it was a European Zerg, I'd say it's a disaster. Solar, Ragnarok, a few of these Korean Zergs, they have this magical quality to say, I can literally have no map vision and be penned in a corner. As long as I have 80 workers in Hive Tech, you will never kill me. And not just that, if you overextend once, I will counterattack brutally and just win the game. Speaking of which, big Zergling attack coming in. But look at his rally. There we go. He's got plenty of Marines, a tank, and a Widowmine. Get out of there, Solar. Goes towards that base. He's going to have to hide up in the top. Those rocks are still up. Marines there. These tanks are anchoring this position. This is basically just a big pack of Marines. But why is Clem pushing in here, guys? It's because the Lurkers aren't ready. He knows right now he's got a 2-2 versus 1-2 advantage on the upgrades. And more importantly, he's got a great tank position. He wants to trade out and really fuck Solar up before he gets those Lurkers out. Oh, Banelings do get a decent hit, but dude... Oh, Ling flank from the right. Can he get rid of all the tanks? He can. Great fight there for Solar in terms of clearing the tanks. Very bad in terms of getting the Marines, because the Marines do not fucking die. 200 Zerglings, 38 Banelings for just 43 Marines. Anyone else would be losing so many more Marines. Clem's Marines are magic. Look at the split on the medevacs that got parasitic bombed. He just splits them forwards. The Marines will not die, and I've talked about this a lot. Several's had this problem in the past. Raynor sometimes deals with it pretty well, but nobody does it consistently, and that is you cannot fight Clem front on defensively. You cannot do it. It is a losing way to play against him. If you want to fight his army on the front, you need to flank with a huge Ling Bane flank and sandwich. The moment you give Clem space to micro, it's not will he micro, it's he will micro perfectly 100% of the time. His hands are lightning fast. He has the best micro in the game. He is faster and better at microing than Maru and Beyond right now, especially in this matchup. That is honestly, I think, a complete fact and objective truth at this point. His Marine micro is too good. This situation where you get surrounded, no one can micro out of that situation. You need to shut him out of options or he will wreck you. Oh, good spready there. Good spready. And that one does die. Oh, that one dies as well. I thought that would just barely survive. He's still got Widowmines here as well. So I really feel you need to do two things. What does Dark do? Dark doesn't fight him on the front at all. Dark just backstabs him and just hits his line with Massling Bane repeatedly. But what we've seen is with the more defensive players, when they've beat him, is it's always about sandwiching. You've got to bring that arm around the back and you go, hey, buddy, and then you've got to give him the old Zergling, Baneling, Liverpool kiss. Give him the old headbutt to the fucking face and break his nose, because otherwise these Marines will laugh at you running and say, I can dance all day, and I'm still getting headshots, and I'm still spreading versus your Banelings. Get out of here, you stupid Zerg player. Look at these lurkers. They don't even have adaptive talons yet. Get the fuck out of here. I'm FPS Clem, and I'm still fucking your shit up. Dude, he is all over it. Look at this. He's got two Marines that keep dropping on either side of the mineral line at the gold during this entire time. And honestly, FPS Clem continues to strike. I gotta say, guys, FPS players out there better hope Clem does not fucking... StarCraft doesn't die and Clem doesn't come to play your game. Because if he played Counter-Strike, he would literally just fucking at the start turn it and fucking... He'd do a 720 spinny, click randomly, and headshot people on the other side of the map through 6 walls. I'm just telling you, man, Clem is ridiculous. His mouse accuracy is out of control. And what I'm really actually coming to enjoy Clem even more about is I used to think, because he plays so well even when he's behind, I used to think he was this cool, calm... cool as a cucumber, collected lad who was like, oh, I'll just keep playing even from behind and see if my opponent makes mistakes. Since then, we've had so many tournaments with Clem on webcam with these remote cameras, and you're like, oh, cool, let's see. And you look at him, and he's like, unless he's absolutely crushing, he's fucking swearing the entire time. Comes like, the facial expression, I'm like, how is he playing so well while clearly shouting about Protoss and Zerg being overpowered? He is a true Terran player. I thought he was one of this new breed of Terrans who's not angry all the time. He's just as angry as you, Thermal and Special, if not angrier. It's fantastic. It's great. He's so pissed off whenever he's losing. And it's awesome to see that a guy could be swearing at his monitor and banging his desk, microing so well, and still mad as fuck. I mean, it's incredible. It's a gift you need to be a truly excellent Terran player. That's a 1 hit point full medevac Solar there with blue Viper balls is like, get back here, you little shit. And actually, that's a very good catch. He gets a bunch of those. The Medivacs are taking a lot of damage. I think they both barely survive that time. Yes, they do. Clem, though, is building the Iron Bank, and I've talked to you guys a lot about how do you win late game as Terran. It's all about the Iron Bank. Maru is one of the best in the world at this, and it's making me really happy to see Clem do it here as well. And that is, guys, you build a shit ton of orbitals. So he's already got 3 orbitals on his bases. He's now adding 1, 2, 3 more extra orbitals, as well as floating planetaries out. And that's the way you do it, because you need mass scans versus lurkers in late game versus DTs in late game. In TVT, you need it positionally. If you don't have it, scans, then invisible units just ruin you. But not only that, it also gives you mules and allows you to Clem. He's like, Pig, you've said too many kind things about my skill and multitasking and perfect control in this cast. I shall now walk into lurkers, just to show that I am indeed human. And I'll tell you guys, he's probably swearing his monitor after that one. Fucking bullshit, burrowed splash damage, siege tank of Zerg. He's gonna try and scan. Now, lurkers actually have the same range as Snipe, but they attack a little slower, and I don't know if they can attack at their full range of 10. I think they might have 9 vision range. So I think maybe they can't quite... I don't actually know how that works. If someone in chat can explain that to me, let me know. Is it they need a spotter unit, or is it just they attack a little slowly? Because I often see Ghosts just going in and out and doing their snipe, and sometimes it gets interrupted and sometimes it doesn't. And I'm not sure if that's to do with a spotting unit or just the delay between the lurker attacks. But either way, nice micro from Clem. Now, guys, how is Solar still alive? Can someone answer me that? I've been commentating this all Clem. How is Solar also only down 4,000 in the resources lost, and his creep is respreading? Oh, that's not good. Oh, he's got an Overseer. He's got the Overseer on pervert mode, providing the vision and the detection, which is nice. And gotta be careful, dude. Snipes are very scary. Uh-oh. Ow. Okay, a couple lurkers go down, but a big Lingbane lurker attack in the south. He's gonna find a command center and get on top of a bit of this production. Just clearing out some of these buildings would be nice, but doesn't want to overcommit in there, you know. As the Terran consolidates his army, it's very scary. 19 ghosts? 19? Okay, Solar's going to need to swap to Broodlord Infestor. We've seen people who go heavy ghost and tank against this before. I know people will argue that Infestors aren't great, but Broodlords, if you get enough of them, they have enough range combined with spread out Infestors that I'm pretty sure that's the way to deal with it. Obviously, we've mostly seen Solar swap into that versus tank ghost, right? Where there's like 15 tanks spread across the map. Plus ghosts. And obviously the Broodlord's hard counter the tanks, and then if you can get the Fungal and the Broodlord micro just right, you can deal with ghosts. Does it deal with mass ghosts? We're going to find out, because there's 21 ghosts on the field. He's building even more. He's adding vehicle plating to make his medevacs and his tanks and things all a little bit tankier. 3-3 upgrades, of course, for Terran. 3-1-2 for Zerg, who's now adding +2 range. Does need to remember that +3 carapace. That makes all of your units a lot tankier. Harassment Lurker does go down in the north. Now, Solar's only killed 9 workers this game. Clem's killed 31, but it's been a while since he's killed them. And notice how Solar's respreading creep. It's the number one thing pros never stop doing, no matter how chaotic a game gets, is they will always keep respreading creep. And even in late game, I'll always have at least 1 queen on a control group just for spreading creep. Is one of those mainstay things you've got to do. Ghost getting a few snipes off. Guys, there's nothing but Lingbane Hydra Lurker. There's a lot of Lings. I mean, you can always, if you get the Lingbane on top of those ghosts, it'll be good, but look at the way he tries to bait him into the Widow Minefield. And dude, my FPS is actually dropping like crazy here. Wow, this is wild. I don't know why. I haven't had that before. Maybe I've got like too many things open in the background. But yeah, this game, there's so much going on. For some reason here on Blackburn, I'm getting a bit of FPS drop. So sorry about that, guys. I'll make sure we fix it up now. Notice he's got non-stop scans. Hasn't fully morphed the Iron Bank yet. He's got a lot of command centers that haven't been upgraded. He's got 91 SCVs, does Clem, so his army's kind of small. And you know what? If he gets surrounded, he's in trouble, but this is the worst area on this map to fight. Don't fight here, Solar. Oh, 1 medevac actually goes down to the Widow Mine friendly fire, but dude, he's also EMP'd 2 of the 3 Vipers. And these circles, I always talk about this is the fuck zone. And it's where Terran fucks and Zerg gets fucked. Don't go there. If you have a range disadvantage, fighting through slow zones is a disaster. This, though, a fantastic maneuver from Solar. Those lurkers coming on in. They're going to try and take out that planetary fortress up here. It does go down. He's also going to catch some ghosts. Ghosts in the open. Ghosts in the open. Oh, no. Clem going to lose like 8 ghosts here. That is a fantastic pickup. Clem, of course, answers damage with damage of his own by stimming it on the south. Watch out for the lurker burrow, though. They could get an instant volley off, but they didn't quite stack their spikes. The friendly fire mine! I was like, they didn't quite stack the spikes. The Widowmine's like, hold my beer, Lurkers. I'm going to show you how to splash damage the Marine Marauder. The Lurkers literally only shot one Marauder and one Marine with their first splash. It didn't hit the center of mass. Then they got the Lurker got one shot on the bio, weakened it, and then the Widowmine fired into the center of the bio and finished them all off. Clem is so mad at that Widowmine right now. I guarantee you, he's like, go fuck yourself. Stupid Widowmines. Lurker harass coming in, but Clem's got turrets everywhere. He's got scans everywhere. He's so good at dealing with it. He's still lost so few SCVs, and he should not replace those. He should stop replacing SCVs, guys. He's got enough command centers at this point that he really should not be so high. He's down on army supply 40. This is not a situation Terran excels in. Terran wants to be up in army supply, and more so as the game goes on. But keep in mind, guys, if we look at that structures tab in the top, I'm looking for orbitals and I'm blind. 8 orbitals. So yeah, the Iron Bank is complete. I always say once you get to like 7 or 8 orbitals, you can call it the Iron Bank at that point. At this point, you have unlimited money and the unlimited vision that money can buy, because you're basically paying for the Spies upgrade in Age of Empires by scanning the entire map whenever the fuck you feel like it. It is really, really good. The thing is, you do not need 90 SCVs at this point, so Clem's job is he's got to just stabilize, slow things down. He's going to always trade more efficiently against this, so Solar's trying to secure the middle expansions to say, okay, I mean, I'm not trading perfectly, but it's fucking good for this matchup, and he's trading damned well for this matchup, guys. Often we see Clem 10, 15,000 resources ahead in that. He's only 5,000, 6,000 ahead in this game, which is nowhere near as good as normal. So if Solar can mine out an extra base, I mean, he's totally fine with that. And right now with the army advantage, if Clem gets all of his Ghost Court out again, he's definitely in big trouble. 17 Ghosts are out, extra Starport Fusion Core transitions on the way. Solar's not going to wait for that to be ready. Massling Bane Lurker rolling on in. There's not that many units on the north. A quick F2 to pull the rest of his army up here for Clem. Medevac Ghost, dude, so tanky. Medevac Ghost with some very good defense. Even sniping Banelings there. Anything you can grab on the retreat. Punish Solar for that move. Ooh, Solar breaking the rocks down. He's not going to let this base go up for free. Well done by Solar there. He says, no, how dare you, you little shit. And he does have +3 carapace. He doesn't have +3 range, but I'd say with how much damage Lurkers do, the +3 is not even that important. It's like, do you want to do a giant line of devastation or a slightly stronger giant line of devastation? It's like, it's still going to do an insane amount of damage either way. The Lurker does run forward. He burrows it. He unburrows it. He burrows it. He unburrows it. Widowmine says, hello, Zerglings. Would you like to play a game? And, oh, good defense there. But Solar says, okay, I see you defended there. Look at this, guys. He's actually filled in the holes in the mineral lines with sensor towers and turrets. That's bloody hilarious. There's only a little gap in the middle. Once again, though, the Lurker behind the gold. These gold base is always a bit of a soft spot. Oh, he's going to try and go through the Terran fuck zone. Oh man, this is really dangerous for Solar right now. Big Widowmine hits. The Ghosts manage to disengage and get out of trouble. That's always the threat, guys. If the Banelings hit the Ghosts, it's all worth it for Solar. I can't believe Solar has fought his way back into this game with how much momentum Clem had from the early stages, how much he was running around and dropping. But this is that survivability I've told you about with Solar. He's often behind against players like Clem and Maru, and then he beats him in late game with Broodlord Infested. Now this game he's trying to make it work with Lurkerling Bane, and he's honestly doing better than I've seen anyone do. And I do think part of this is because Clem stopped building tanks. Clem said, you have Vipers, I don't want tanks getting abducted for free. But I think it's actually costing him, because a few tanks scattered around these bases would make these trades so much more inefficient for Solar. And look at that, Solar finds the bottom base as well as cracking in here. Dude. And the fact that Clem's army count was so low and his worker count was so high for so long, I think this comes back to bite him in the arse a little bit there. Nice double snipe, does take out a Lurker. Guys, there's no Overseers joining the army right now. Oh, here they are. Okay, he cleans up the Widowmines on the left. He will get the command center there. Army coming back. Ooh, Hydras and Lings take out a Ghost or two. Let's check that units lost tab. Dude, Solar's almost tied up the units lost, and he's been mining the top the entire time. He should have already mined this gas out. That is one mistake. I really want to see Solar take this base as well. I think he realizes he'll probably lose too many units defending it, so he's kind of letting Clem take it and use that as almost bait to let Clem overextend. But the fact that he didn't mine out this top gas, that's a big bummer, because he's always using a gas-heavy composition as Zerg. And even though he's got a lot of Zerglings in there, he's definitely a little starved for that right now, and there's no more remaxing easily for Solar. On the other hand, Clem, it's not about remaxing, it's can he max? Look at him, he's at 140 supply, he's down 50 army supply. I mean, does he have the Iron Bank? He lost a couple of orbitals, not too many. He's still got 7. He's building one more command center as well. He's got some Liberators coming out, but these Liberators do not have advanced ballistics, guys. They do not have that range upgrade, which means they've got 5 siege range rather than 8, which is, of course, nowhere near as powerful. Remember, there's not a lot of anti-air that Solar really wants in his army. He's got 12 Hydras in there now. He's got a handful. I guess there's part of me that worries he's giving a bit too much room for Clem. Maybe he could have swung up to the north, but Clem has really disincentivized that as an option. He's like, I've got 2 planetaries and Widow Mines. If you ever attack there, it's going to cost you, man. The Ghost Bio trying to pull back. He's got a tank there, but it goes down almost instantly. Dude, there's not enough Bio. There's too much Ling Bane. He's only got a handful of Marines and Marauders. The Ghosts scattering backwards. The absolute flood of Zerg. And Solar says, what's that about you microing perfectly and tooling me for the early game? Dude, Solar has just Rocky Balboa with this shit. He literally kept on countering Clem's fist with his chin. And behold, the Solar chin comes out victorious. He's like, see the way you bloodied your knuckles on my face, you dickhead? Honestly, Solar, a fantastic comeback in this game. Wait, is this an overextend? That planetary just survived. Dude. He just lost his entire army supply. Solar just lost his entire army supply. He's getting sniped. He's getting units lost. Oh, no. Oh, no. Was that an overextend? I think that was a huge overextension. He gets 30 more SCVs. But now, what have we got? Okay, 4 mineral patches there. 3 mineral patches there. These are almost gone. I mean, Clem's almost out of resources on his side of the map, but say Clem can secure that bottom base and drop a big wave of mules, the Iron Bank will deliver a lot of funds to him. Army supply is neck and neck. Income-wise, Solar's still got the top base. He's still got 5 mineral patches there. That's almost out. Oh, well, long-distance mining, there's still like 1,600, 1,700 minerals on that base. I mean, this is kind of tight right now, and I actually think Solar, yeah, massively overextended by fighting into that planetary. It really distracted. This is a 48-kill planetary fortress. I think that tells you how much Solar overextended there. Planetary fortresses aren't meant to have 48 kills unless there's like a Broodlord just throwing Broodlings in one at a time at it. That's ridiculous. There's a 17-kill Ghost in there. Captain Ghost likes to shoot Zerg's face off. Mr. Oh, fuck me. Uh-oh. Clem losing all of his Marines and some Ghosts. Did he just... He EMP'd and he didn't hit anything, guys. He EMP'd, but he missed the Vipers. Blinding Cloud coming down. And the Ling Bane. Wave 2 of Tidal. Zerg comes in. Time to pull back. Pull back, Solar. Disengage. Don't go up there. I think this is now the point where he might be overextending. A good pullback. Okay. Solar gets the damage, denies the base, and he's looking good. Right now, Clem has a Liberator and a Widow Mine, but he's got so few mineral patches to mine from. He's got a couple thousand minerals left there, whereas this base has still got a lot on it. And look at that. Solar comes in and is like, oi, what the shit, dude? How dare ye? Clem desperately trying to mine from a base that's out in the open. A sure sign of Terran desperation. And Solar right now, yeah, he's bloodied, he's bruised, but he's got a big fat smile on his face, you know? It's that moment where you've been beating on a guy for 27 minutes as Clem, and you look at him and Solar just meets your eye. His mouth opens, blood dripping out of it. You can see one of his tooth is hanging by a goddamn thread, but he smiles at you, and there's a glint in Solar's eye that says, this is what I was born for. Grueling fucking bloodfest Zerg vs Terrans, and I love it. And Clem's like, are you fucking serious? Just die. Die, dude. I did so much to kill you this game and wear you down. How? How are you doing so goddamn well? Solar's there with the mad grin of a man who loves violence and embraces it with a goddamn passion. And yes, some lurkers do go down to snipes. Widow Mine gets a great hit on the Zerglings. You gotta be careful chasing this army into fields of Widow Mines, fields of Ghost sniping, but those Ghosts are very low on energy. And as we see, it's kind of hard to get those snipes off when he's got the vision there. Hydra's going to clean that up, and that means that orbital's going to go down. That orbital's running for it. One Hydralisk says, nah, mate, you take the island. You die on the island. Ling Bane coming forward. Oh, man. I think he's got to pull back. Solar's got to pull back. Yeah, whenever you just hang on the edge like that, you've kind of got to swing in and try to get this. I think a few more parasitic bombs on the medevacs would be huge as well. No! He saves the command center. Clem there does pull back to that one. Still got a few mineral patches there, but look at the minerals per minute right now. Triple the income for Solar, who's going to keep diving forward, looking for these openings. The Queen's transfusing, trying to do anything he can right now. He does get that Widow Mine before it can fire. Snipes going down. He's trying to transfuse those Overseers to keep him alive. It's very important he keeps his Overseers alive. Oh! Oh, that Widow Mine does not make me comfortable. Oh God. Oh man, Jesus. You can see there's like a perfect circle of red over there, man. That's nasty. I don't know how much the first Widow Mine killed. The second one got 13 in one shot. The Mind Bio Ghost, can it do it? The Parasitic Bombs, they're killer, but a great spready from Clem. A pick up and evacuate. Great pullback by Clem, but he does lose some medevacs. He loses yet another command center. The Iron Bank ain't so iron anymore, guys. He's back to a basic bitch 3 orbital count. He's lost the Iron Bank. The Iron Bank of Clemos has been broken by the goddamn swarm of Solar's Dothraki Zerg. And he says, we just come, dude. We're fucking reeing as we fucking ride over the hills on our horses. Dude, you could come at us with literally a horde of undead that like blocks out the sun, and we just charge at it because that's what we think of strategy. My name's Solar, and I support the final season of Game of Thrones. Let's be real, Solar has been engaging a little more effectively than the Dothraki did against the undead horde in that let's pretend it's not part of the canon season of Game of Thrones. Zergling's trying to overwhelm the ghosts. Watch the Widowmine friendly fire. Oh, gets a lot of lings, does a lot to the ghosts as well. He was trying to snipe the Overseer, can't quite take out the detection, and Solar claws his way back in a half-hour bloodfest. Awesome. That was only game 1. What the shit? Let's go. Let's go game 2. Hot yeah. Alright. Hello everybody and welcome. Wait, this is not the first game of the series. We don't need an intro for it. This is game 2. I feel like we're starting a new series because I still can't believe Solar won that game. That's one of the most painful maps to play against Terran, by the way. Really impressive that Solar did it. GG's. Gonna go into map 2 on 2,000 atmospheres. A bit more of an open map, a lot more different diverse attack angles. Who knows, maybe that favors Clem more, since he's such a multi-pronged god as well. We'll have to see. Clem's, of course, in the top right. I do wonder about not producing tanks. I think Solar's Viper usage was so good that he kind of just stopped. It was like, yeah, let's not bother. Let's just use... It was basically just Biomine Ghost, right? And that army can be very good. I personally, as a noob Terran player, like to build tanks because the cool thing about tanks is you can just siege them and fucking sit them there and they do their job. You don't need to micro them once they're sieged up, right? And then you can focus on like EMPing the Vipers and that sort of stuff. So it's actually going to be really interesting to see, does Clem adjust if he faces the same lurker style? Does Solar play Mutiling Bane this game? Does he change his style up? Because Solar, I mean, you know what we haven't seen in a while is actually straight Ultra. We've seen a lot of lurker play, bit of Muta play, not that much Ultra play anymore. I guess guys like Clem and stuff are just a bit too good at microing, and it's a bit too slow to get there, maybe. Looking for proxy barracks is Solar. Solar, I told you guys at the start of the last game, Solar wins game 1, and then he gets proxy barracks, right? He's been traumatized by this, man. For those, obviously, there's the famous World Championship game about, what, 6 months ago now, where Solar beat Maru and then walked his whole army into a nuke and then lost. I mean, whew, that was game 1 of that series. And then he got proxy raxed out in game 2. It was like, so heartbreaking, man. Solar is like, he's kind of our new Sue. Like, Sue used to always get to the finals and then couldn't win a finals for the life of him, right? Full-on straight reversals where he's up 3-0, all sorts of shit like that. Like, and with Solar, it's not in the finals. It's just, oh, he's playing the best player. Everyone's like, that guy's favored versus him. And we're like, I don't actually know. And Solar dominates the best players in these macro games. And then he gets, like, smashed in the next one. We'll see if he can buck the trend here against Clem. First game was obviously, I think his creep spread while under pressure was one of the big things that kept him going. Is Clem... Yes, he was attacking a lot, but Solar did buy himself a lot of space and time by continually respreading the creep and spreading it in areas where he wasn't under pressure, you know. He'd be microing on one side and he'd take a break to jump to the other side of the map to do that. Clem there looking for the snipe, doesn't quite get it. Just one Zergling so far. And a quick third command center, so Clem's going to go for a much quicker economy into the you know, not committing so much to Hellions and Libs and Hellion drops. It's going to be more about, hey, I'm going to have 3 barracks pumping bio and medevacs, and I'm going to dive across this map and get on in there and see if I can kick some ass. Oh, speaking of which, my Twitch chat's pointed out that Solar not only, you know, loses these series versus the best players where he crushes them in game 1, he's also the guy who was the victim of parting abusing Oblivion, which is, of course, the GSL map, which people didn't realize, and Parting found out has a 1 pylon block on it. A 1 pylon block on the bottom of the ramp, which he used, basically walled Solar into his main with a single pylon at the bottom of his ramp, and even drones or Zerglings couldn't move past it. Had the most efficient cannon rush, got a massive lead, and basically just broke Solar right there. And obviously Solar was incredibly tilted. So Solar right now is basically the vessel for all bad luck, unfortunateness, and Zerg sadness in the StarCraft community. So honestly, I don't know what I can say. Go support Solar on his stream, because I feel like he suffers so we don't have to. He is the magnet for all fucking shit luck in this game. Oh, aliens are in. Roasted the Zerglings. But a few more come out. Link Speed's here as well, so he will back off. Still hasn't lost a unit, though, because his name is Clem. And look, he's going to do this split. Remember how Raynor started splitting his queens? And Terran's like, damn, we can't get damage. Clem was like, well, why didn't I just split my Hellions as well, dumbass? They're still faster. We're like, well, that would be incredibly hard to micro. And Clem's like, hard to micro? You guys suck at this game. He's like, you know, I've played this game since I was 7 years old, and 400 APM comes to me more naturally than literally anything else in the world. Like, hard to micro. Like, Clem, honestly, if you explain to him you struggle to micro in a situation, I'm pretty sure he'd stare at you with zero comprehension in his face. And he'd just be like, I don't understand. What does that mean? He's like, I mean, I understand the other races are bullshit because they have better tools, but it doesn't matter. I mean, you could just micro your way out of any situation. You just click good. Make your units click on their units. Make your Marines focus fire the Banelings, spread in 3 directions. Spread your medevacs the moment they get parasitic bombed. Hellions literally never get surrounded by Zerglings and die. And play like a French Chad. Now, what's interesting, guys, is he did go Cloaked Banshee. So this is not the fastest transition into the Marines. He is going to have 2 Cloaked Banshees. This one went in and looks like got 1 kill before getting chased off. Took a bit of damage, not too much. Hellions are still roaming here. Overseer morphing there on the D. And double Evo before Baneling now. So Solar really not... Oh, okay, there we go. I was like, dude, is he going to go 1-1 before Bane speed? For those who don't know, Solar is the player who for years now has been obsessed with Baneling speed. In times where every other Zerg would die to a quick like 2-tank stim Marine push, Solar would always shut them down because he's always been adamant about, I'm happy to be a little behind on upgrades if I have to, but I will not die to your first big stim push because I always have Baneling speed at a nice timely fashion. He prioritizes quick lair, quick Baneling speed, and a second or third gas as standard. Whereas a lot of the European Zergs, historically at least, though sometimes a lot of them have emulated his style now, go for the quick double upgrades, delay their Bane speed. They rely on Mass Queen Ling. But against the top tier Terran, players have noticed that it's not reliable. That's a good lineup for Clem. Clem's really finding damage here. And look at that, he baits him into coming, and his Hellions are just going to stand and fight. They're like, dude, Hellions are good versus Zerglings, but I think this is good enough angle for Solar. He will chase him off. 11 workers goes down, a ton of Zerglings as well. 5 Hellions for 12 drones, 28 Zerglings, a Queen, 4 Creep Tumors. Clem's pretty good at this game. Solar, though, I do think he's messed up a little bit, guys. So he should have had a second Queen in the main. Okay, he does have a second Queen there now. It's very important to have 2 Queens in your main against Cloaked Banshees when they work that angle. And then most of your Queens can be down here. It's kind of hard, though, because he took this third. The Banshees could threaten this base and this base, which means, well, you've got to have Queens defending here and here against the Banshees. But then the Hellions could kind of come in from the other side as well. And that's why the Hellions kind of found some openings within the movement there. Units lost tab looking great for Clem so far. Another Queen going to go down. Gets a Banshee, though, so most Zergs kind of happy to take that trade. The Widowmine Parade is starting, though, guys. And he's gone straight into Widowmines this time around. No tank production. Uh-oh. Oh, he sacrifices the Banelings to kill the Widowmine. Not the cheapest trade for Solar, but does stop it from firing. I always talk about how that can absolutely be worth it. And he does it again, but he takes a big Widowmine hit there. Another big Widowmine hit. He's got 1 Baneling. Pull back, pull back. You cannot let Clem be in your face. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. Guys, we've seen Serral have to tap out in this situation far too many times. If you don't have any Banelings and you're just trickling in like this, Clem has a goddamn party. He feels zero fear. He already knows the game is over. You cannot lose all your Banelings or he just kills you. Up to 75 workers was Solar, but the Banelings went down. The Widowmines coming a bit earlier than he expected, and I think he was a little too inefficient with blowing those Banelings up on the Widowmines, and he still took a big hit. Clem ties up the series 1-1. All right. Let's go. Game number 3. He's tied up the series there. And he does look good with that 3cc build. He looks nigh unstoppable. I actually think he might go 3 command center into 2 barracks build this time. So 3 command centers into the 2-1-1, where you only go 2 or at most 4 Hellions, and then you just hit a brutally fast Marine drop timing, and then you just all over the Zerg. This is Clem. His opponent in the top left, it's Solar. Likely to play Mutalisks here. Why? Because of the dead space. Terran's just going to drop you all day if you don't have Mutalisks. So they're just going to come in from here. They're going to come in around the back. They're going to Widowmine drop you, especially. Widowmine drops very popular as it goes to the mid and late game in this matchup. If you don't have Mutas to shut them down, it gets out of control. You can have Spores, you can have Spines, you can have Queens. Drilling Claw Widowmines are going to ruin your day. So I expect Mutiling Bane up against potentially the third command center into the quick second barracks, and we'll see exactly how this does match up. Of course, you'll find out if Clem chooses to do that. He's going to delay the second gas and get that quick third command center up here about 2 minutes from now. 2 minutes? I guess it's like, what, about 2 minutes 40? I think that third CC normally goes down. 2:40, 3 minutes, something like that. I don't actually know the timing on it. I haven't really played a lot of 3CC builds with Bioverse. So actually I do 3CC as my standard build order, but I just do it into mech. Should be the exact same command center timing. And yeah, I don't even know what my command center timing is. I know when to put it down when I'm playing. I just don't know the game timer. He'll still build the factory, the depot, and then the factory first, of course. But after that, we find out. Both sides just chilling. Solar did check the right side a little bit for proxy racks, and he checked down here as well. He would have missed it here or anywhere in this area. SCV sees the hatcheries done, immediately goes home. That's all Clem wanted to check. That tells him that he's safe to send the Reaper across. Because if the hatchery is a bit later, that means there's a spawning pool before the hatchery, and it means they could be Zerglings sneaking around the map. So in that case, the Reaper needs to guard this SCV building the command center. But he's going to go across the map here, and Solar will opt for a relatively quick third base, 28 supply, after the Overlord starts building. Reaper comes on in, bounces a grenade there on the drones, going to try and pick him off. You could see Clem there trying to close in and actually get some kills. Surprised he doesn't circle the mineral line. The pros don't seem to risk that maneuver very much. It works so consistently at low levels. Like, I kill a drone so often with my first Reaper. This micro from Clem. So what he's doing, guys, is he's right-clicking and then pressing stop or hold position. So because he's not actually clicking that fraction of a millimeter in front of where the Reaper is. He's clicking it in that direction and then pressing stop. Clicking it, pressing stop, clicking it. And that's why the Reaper's like... And that's the same thing you'll use, for instance, to position a Queen on a ramp or in between minerals if you're defending a Zergling rush as well. Sees the Overlord there, well positioned here. And it is indeed that quick third command center. See, only one gas, third command center. He does still get the starport on time, but his factory Hellion production is delayed as he's spent the minerals in the command center so fast. Now, what's so beautiful about the 3CC build in Legacy is command centers give you a shitload of supply, guys. They give you a lot of supply. I believe it's 15 supply. So a command center actually gives you pretty much as much supply as 2 depots, and yet is only 400 minerals. So yeah, it takes longer to build and kick in, but at this early stage, the first command center has already given you a big supply gap. And then check it, you're like, oh no, I'm gonna be supply blocked. Oh wait, no, I'm not. So a command center is almost like half price in Legacy of the Void, right? Does anyone remember how much supply command centers, hatcheries, and Nexi gave in Wings of Liberty and Heart of the Swarm? Because I feel like it was a lot less back then. Hatcheries now give, I think, 6 supply. They used to give, I think, 2. And, yeah. Command centers used to give 10 and 10 back in the day. Hatcheries maybe 4, Twitch chat thinks. There's 2 supply for a hatchery back in the day, yeah. So they actually kind of made expansions even cheaper in Legacy of the Void as well. Hatcheries used to give 1, now it's 6. There's a few different options. Ooh. The Nexus always has had 100 supply and Terran 10 supply back in the day, according to chat. I think that's a typo. I think they meant it was 10 for Command Center and Nexus or thereabouts. Anyway, guys, I'll touch back on that soon. This is indeed going to be just a couple of Hellions and a Reaper, guys, into that 2 barracks that I was talking about. So you see Stim and Medivacs are on the way. So much like the standard 2-1-1, 2 barracks, then a factory, then a starport, you do this. The only change is the third command center comes down earlier, and then the factory still is down a bit before the second barracks. But check it out. You've got double Medivac popping, you've got Stim, you've got a pack of Marines, and you're already moving out to bring the fight to your opponent. He's not even waiting for both Medivacs to be out. He's boosting them to catch up with the Marines, and he's going to launch an assault straight through the middle of the map. And this is such a pain to deal with a Zerg. He's just started his Carapace. He's got Queens. He doesn't have many Zerglings. He's got to build a lot more Lings to defend this. And yeah, it doesn't have the mobility quite of, say, Hellion Banshee, but it's much harder to fight, right? It's not something you can just throw a few Queens at and the Hellions have to run away. This is a lot of Stim Marines. He's already clearing so much creep at the front. And this is such a nightmare to deal with. I honestly feel that this build from Clem, if you don't manage to all in him somehow, is so hard to beat on this map. Because he's going to follow this up with another drop as well in the near future. He's actually not building any more Medivacs yet, so he's kind of powering, focusing on his production getting up, his upgrades for now. But once they have 2 drops in the north, 2 drops in the south, against a guy as good as Clem, it is a nightmare to play against. Now, Solar's gone up to 5 gases, which tells us, guys, he is not going to play Mutas. He's going to play Lurkers. And I think to punish that, if you can get in there with Widowmine drops sooner rather than later, it's really going to favor you as Clem. If you can start finding some economic damage. Still no Medivacs in production. He's just focusing on army, actual units that fight, SCVs. I say that as the SCV production halts for a second there. Shh. Even Clem's not perfect. But he's up at 60 SCVs at 630, so not bad at all. Not bad at all. And he'll be dropping that armory soon, so we can start 2-2 immediately. Meanwhile, still only a single Evo chamber upgrading for Solar. He built the second one, but he forgot to start that melee. There we go. It's lagging a little bit behind. Nice wraparound. Forces the... Oh! Clem fumbles his pickup. Loses a few Marines there. Rare you see that. Now, for those who don't know, you do need to manually fly transports of all types over the unit and past them to pick them up smoothly. People often say, how do you pick up smoothly? If you just select the unit and the transport, and you just right-click on the transport, will they get in? Yes. The problem is, the transport and the units will both move towards each other, and they will decelerate as they get close to each other so that they will perfectly come to a stop in range and then pick up. Now, the reason that doesn't work when you're trying to fight Massling Bane is that means your medevac's like, oh, I'm almost there. We might as well take our foot off the gas and slowly pull into the traffic light. And I'm like, no, there's Ling Bane about to hit the Marines. And the medevac's just like drifting into the finish, waiting to get on top. And you're like, no, get over the top so the Marines can get in. So it's very manual with the micro. A lot of people look for shortcuts with picking up. I would say the only real shortcut you can do to make it a lot easier for yourself is make sure before you get in the bad position where the Banelings are about to kill you, already control click those medevacs and just move them over your Marines. Just right click them just past your Marines. Because if you wait until you're in trouble before moving the medevacs over top, you're going to be like, oh no, I've got to pick up. And your medevacs are going to already be like over here healing Marines that are over there. And they've got a bit more distance to cover. Whereas if they're already overhead, oh, you can just select them and click them on the medevacs. And it saves you having to reactively boost medevacs over Marines and pick them up, which obviously takes a lot more skill and coordination. Speaking of skill and coordination, imagine eating a lot of spicy tacos and then you've got to take a shit on a Terran mineral line. Oh, Clem taking some big damage, but at the same time, he runs in on the north and the south, and oh, he gets wiped on the south. Completely, the Baneling drop pulling his attention away. If he gets wiped up here, this is going to be huge. Oh, the Widowmine's not quite hitting his units, but the Banelings get a big connect, and Solar, he's got it. I think Solar literally may have just won the game. He kills a bunch of SCVs, clears an army in the south, clears an army in the north. His creep's still decent in the middle. He's got 5 bases, 87 workers, Hive, plus 2 Carapace kicking in, Lurkaden as well. He does need to remember to start the other Evo Chamber upgrade. Absolute God, literally can hear me from the past when this game was actually played. And dude, he's in a fantastic position now. Now, obviously, Clem's not dead. He's got a 4th base going up as well. He's at 70 workers. He can reproduce, but he's definitely not got the same momentum that I felt he had back on Blackburn. And Ling Bane just going in small packs, setting off some of the Widow Mines, clearing out some of the units. You don't want to take big, giant engagements. Oh, because the Widow Mines will get big splashies on ya. The rest of the Ling Bane's going to coalesce, come forth, and form one big old blob. He does clean that up. Hydra's now joining the field. Seismic Spines is on the way. So that's that Lurker upgrade now. He hasn't queued up Adaptive Talons. He may have thought he did it, but he didn't have enough gas. Most players queue both upgrades at once. If he doesn't realize that, he may forget it for a little while. So we'll keep our eyes and check in on that upgrade. If he forgets it, it could hurt him in the long run of this game. Still no Widowmine drops from Clem, and I think that's a big missed opportunity. That's one of the things which we see Cure, Clem often have a lot of success with on this map, but these frontal fights, he's been focused more on just Marine Widowmine pushing the front, and because Solar's taken such good trades, only a little behind in the units lost, and trust me, that is very good trades for this matchup. It ends up being in his favor so far. Solar is maxed right now. Adaptive Talons queues up immediately. Great awareness by Solar, and Clem pushed back. He does not have a lot of momentum. He does not have the iron bank up. He's just getting up to 8 barracks with Tech Labs. He's not there just yet. Nice. A bit of harassment finally coming in the form of a Liberator. I think he may have sieged that a little close to the Spore Crawler. Oh, the Vipers. Look at this. Get over here. That pulls him out of siege mode. Oh, big Widow Mine hits. He's got another one. That one does a lot to the Medivacs, but a lot of the Zerg already dead. The Lurkers are here, though, now. And Lurkers stopping Widow Mines in their tracks. Clem going to pick up, rotate into the main. It looks like the Liberator did finally go down over there. That Spore Crawler does have a kill, so indeed it did. Spore in the main, stopping the most accessible drop path. The Ling's going to, of course, make it hard for Clem to drop it all. He's going to have to just fly around the back of this base, see if he can find something. Widow Mines everywhere. He's going to push back through the middle of the map now as more Marauders come in. Still missing that Tech Lab, which means he can only build 3 Marauders or Ghosts at a time. But he's going to push through the middle. 2 more command centers on the way, as well as 3-3 upgrades. So he's going to take that upgrade lead in about a minute and a half. Right now, though, they're tied at 2-2. And Clem is building the Iron Bank. That Widow Mine, a fudging traitor. It says 0 kills. That's because they're all friendly fire kills, so they're not counted. And the Spore actually kills... He killed both drops. He killed both drops on the left. Dudes, Clem is even in resources lost versus Zerg, who's had 5 bases and 90 drones from, like, a few minutes ago. This is really bad for Clem. He does dive around the top. He's already pre-stimmed. He's going to have to stim again. Oh, Lurkers, Ling's coming forward. He's looking for the drilly mine hits. Unburrow, burrow, unburrow, burrow. Oh my god, Clem didn't want a friendly fire, so he was unburrowing the Widow Mines, realizing that wasn't enough Zerglings. He didn't need the shot, and if it did go off, it was going to do more friendly fire than offensive. Great Widow Mine micro, that one as well. Good spotting. This warns him of the attack even before it enters Sensor Tower vision, and it stacks up damage over time. Overseers, though, do join in with that counterattack in the south side, and so the Widow Mine does get cleaned up. Good attention to detail. Solar not just sending some Lings across, but he's clearing Widow Mines pretty consistently as well. He has missed those 2 on the north, but he's got a good army here. Lurker, Hydra, Ling, Bane. The Viper's looking healthy as well, at least in terms of energy, if not hit points. Red hit points on one of those. Overseer on the south does go down. This is an absolute shitfest right now. Solar wants to shove in and find some damage, but I think Clem, so far, he's locked down. He's got so many Widow Mines spread. His Iron Bank is not on the way, guys. He's just using these command centers to secure extra planetaries. Just 1 orbital. So the beginnings of an Iron Bank. He's not there yet. Queen goes down on that north side. Creep respread's decent. Solar, of course, going to clear these Widow Mines up. Cannot let those continue to hang out and fire over and over. We're going to see some snipey snipes, maybe. And Widow Mine unable to fire there. Quick disengage from Solar does really well. Double Nidus Worm! Oh, he's going to look to slide a couple of cheeky Nidus Worms into Clem's back door when he's not looking. He might wait. I would like to see him wait for Clem to push on the map. Sneak in. Already, though, these Overseers are going to tell you. We're going to go to Clem's vision. When he sees those dots enter his sensor tower, he should know what's up. Does he realize the Overseers are crossing into his main? He's fighting right now. There's a Lurker sieging behind his base. I don't think he's realized, guys. I do not think he's realized. We're on Clem's camera right now. He doesn't know about the Overseers sliding into his back door. He's too distracted by this Lurker run by. Great syncing up of some harassment with the Overseers crossing the sensor tower path. That's a huge tell. Solar's gotten away with it. He's left 1 Overseer behind. The double Nidus in the back. He's got 1 in the corner of his main. 1 in the back of his natural. Clem has not noticed. Clem has not noticed. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, I think he's F2'd his army. But I don't think he realizes we're still watching from Clem's camera. Oh no. The sound every turn hates to hear, man. No. Oh, let's go back to everyone's camera. A massive army at the front. Wait, only a few Lurkers? He didn't think this was gonna work. Solar only put a few Lurkers in. He could have put so many units in there. I mean, he's still got a Lurker there, 2 Lurkers on the high ground. He's getting damage. Oh, I thought that was going to be a way bigger army. Like 10 Lurkers on the production would have been absolutely killer, man. That would have been absolutely killer. Oh, dude. Okay, he's trying to get more up. 4 snipes on 1 Lurker. Talk about overkill. Clem is not messing about. He knows how dangerous this is. He hasn't cleared up these Nidus Worms yet. The one there goes down. That one will also go down. But at the same time, a giant push on the front. 2 command centers die. Parasitic Bomb taking out the Medivacs. The planetary goes down. Solar coming forward once again. A tsunami of Zerg crashing over Clem's bases. And as he crashes over the front, he also slides in the back door. Never one to be an inattentive opponent in a game of StarCraft. Oh, Solar pays attention to all of your openings with equal care. And unfortunately, once again, only 2 Lurkers. Only 2 lurkers there. They go down. Nidus Worm in the back of the natural. Oh, he's just... Look at this! This chat of an Overseer is spotting 2 bases at once, doing a great job. Those Nidus heads go down. But if he pops out like 10 lurkers here, he can kill a base. Solar has momentum. He could win this game. Where's his Banelings, though? He doesn't have Banelings. Lurker, Ling kind of coming in a little apart from each other. Good pullbacks by Clem. And there's nothing popping out in the back. One Nidus Worm goes down, the other one as well. I think Solar here, he's focusing on the frontal fights, using the Niduses as a distraction, and actually he's missing opportunities. Clem is under defending versus this. I mean, that being said, that's a great lurker, but he's shooting the planetary. He's got to shift click the SCVs. This is one of those little tricks you learn, guys. Once lurkers have the range upgrade, their range is so far, they're always going to shoot the planetary because it's an attacking unit. So unless it's over here where it's hitting SCVs on the path of its splash damage, it's actually not as effective. So a little bit more micro with those lurkers is great. Of course, Clem pulled back his SCV, so it didn't really matter too much. Lurker does go down. Another big thrust on the front. Every time he kills these command centers, it's great damage because he's delaying that bank getting up. And oh my god, the ghosts. The ghosts all going down right now. A lot of them falling. He's overextending though. Solar's overextending. Oh, this is the problem, guys. Sometimes Zerg players get a little bit horny. You don't want to chuck a Zerg. This is something more often done by NA ladder players, but Solar absolutely chucked a Zerg there. Those who know, chucking a Zerg, it's when you're winning a Zerg and the only way you could lose is by attacking into the Terran's strongest defensive point and just chasing into a giant arc of defensive setup. And that's exactly what Solar did there. Great fight up to this point. He should have pulled back, killed this command center, and backed off. Instead, look at that. He throws an army away, and Clem says, oh, sweet. Has a deep breath, has a moment of respite, reestablishes this. If he gets this base up, he's totally fine in this game. Because look at the units lost tab. 6,000 resources behind from equal resources earlier. Solar's been a little bit inefficient, and he could afford to be for a while, but he hasn't really found the conversions he was looking for. He was looking to really limit Clem's economy for that. Great surround on those ghosts. That planetary is going to fall at the same time, though. Clem will take this base out there. Ling Bane getting on the production. Dude, he should clear out that SCV line. Widowmine's defending, Cloaked Ghosts defending. Solar panics a little bit and pulls back, and I think understandably so. He doesn't want to lose 2 bases. He loses 1 base, 7 drones. He does kill a lot of SCVs and that front command center. He's still clearing up some more things, but these Widowmines are actually a pain in the ass. Honestly, he's got to keep making Overseers. He's only got 1 in this army right now, and look at the way Clem always focus fires that. He realized that if he can cloak his ghosts, if he can use Widowmines over and over, it's going to become very taxing for Solar, who once again morphs 2 more Overseers. It's a constant stream of Overseers joining this army. Widowmines still alive on the south. That base being retaken. This base looking healthy. Still Widowmines hanging out just about everywhere, though. These Overseers like, dude, get the fuck out of my base. Get off my map. He's doing a good job of clearing it. Oh, he could get up here, but once again, he'll be surrounded. If Solar pushes in here, I mean, if he cracks through, it's great. But one of the big dangers of any offensive where you're trying to crack through the center of your opponent's line is you can end up surrounded. If you don't have enough momentum to carry through the center and break through, you basically just end up surrounded by your opponent's Solar, though it looks like he has the numbers to break through. The natural fight's going really well for Clem. Banelings get a lot of SCVs up there. Can he kill the planetary? The lurkers aren't in range. The lurkers aren't in range of the planetary. He will kill it, but these ghosts being microed very well on both sides. Clem's hanging on for dear life. Clem, very mature choice to pull back there, not throw his units away. He needs to gather more ghost energy. He loses a command center, but he's still got a 5th base up there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bases. He's going to float that orbital down, try to retake it, gets a few lurkers on Solar's disengage as well. Solar's still dominating this map right now, looking like he has some of the best Lurkerling Bane play in the game right now. The lurker's going to pull back. Snipe punishes it, but there's not that many snipes available. The energy very low for Clem right now. Okay, 20 army supply, 15 army supply lead for Solar. He's got 333. 333 is done for Clem. Clem's once again reverting to mass bio ghost production. It's just bio mine ghost, and honestly, great comp. Didn't work out for him on Blackburn, and Solar's doing really well at breaking it on this map. Ooh, okay, does split versus that one. Doesn't know about these Widow Mines. There's 3 Widow Mines on the bottom that I think could come in big later in this game. Another Widow Mine really doesn't do too much. Parasitic Bomb on the Medivacs is huge. And gets another lift, a few SCVs. A drop on the north, though, for Clem. Gets 9 workers. He's going to kill that base. Trading a base for a base, I think, is okay for Solar. But he does want to get better and better trades as time goes on. Snipes getting a nice bit of punish there for Clem. Gets a few of these lurkers down. Solar has to pull back. He cannot just sit on the edge of range there, or Clem will take fantastic trades. Now Solar's worker counts not looking that great. Oh, they had to do a pause at that point. A little bit distracting. Those Marines going to come on in on that one. Oh, no! 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 Oh, Solar! He loses like 5 lurkers there. Oh, that's a big bummer for him. And he just lost a base. This base is not fully mining. I think he has to re-drone. Is he oversaturated anywhere? He's not. I mean, he's got decent income, but he's got to re-drone. Dude, Widowmine drops. I talked about Widowmine drops earlier. No! He'd already taken too much economic damage and another 20 go down to the Widowmine drop. Clem is like, I'm not gonna Widowmine drop. And I'm like, he's missing the most important feature of Romanticide. Widowmine drops are amazing on this map. And then it does one Widowmine drop and it takes what was already looking like a good economic position and turns it into a potentially game-winning one. And Solar's not replacing drones. And this is a decision. He said, shit, I took too much damage. Oh, damn, that was some pretty healthy Widowmine shots as well. He's saying, look, if I don't just keep my army up, you're going to overwhelm me. So look, I'll do a bit of lurker harass, I'll keep breaking your bases, and as long as I have good enough army, I can take good enough fights, and that's how we'll win. But these Widowmines are saying, what was that about? Good enough fights? Clem laughing in Widowmine right now as he just slaughters the Zerglings. There's not that many Lings. Guys, there's meant to be like 100 Lings in this army comp right now. Again, getting kills over and over with these Widowmines. They're not always getting cleaned up either. The Lurker on the right is doing a little bit of counter damage, but that's yet another base going down for Solar. You could argue it's not the end of the world since his worker count's not that great, that Solar can just transfer to these bottom bases. A few more workers there, a few more workers on the middle. Big push through the center. Ooh, EMP on the Vipers. Nicely done by Clem. And his mass ghost defense here. He's always able to pull back and fight pretty well. Zerglings on their own, not really able to overwhelm that. The command center gets saved. It lifts off. It pulls back there. Clem will not go down, and he is just kind of defended and hung on. And every time Solar attacks into him, Clem has this amazing ability. I've seen him do this versus Protoss as well, to just fall back on 3 sides. And as I said, if the line doesn't break, you end up surrounded. That's happened maybe 5 different occasions this game, from that first big chucking a Zerg fight that Solar did over there, to ones where it looked like he was just taking a good fight, and then you see Clem pull back, and suddenly Clem's got a surround, and he snipes so many units on the disengage. And that's what the real danger here for Solar, right? You've got to dive in to find those angles, find the economic damage. But it's so scary. When do you pull back? When do you not? Because every time you disengage, you're going to lose a ton of units to that snipe. Not to mention the Widowmine's so scary to engage into, creating fields of dangerous territory. It's kind of like these landmines covering the fighting retreat that Clem is doing over and over here. And now Clem is way up in supply. Nidus Worms on the top of the map going to come down here for Solar. But remember that Solar's economy is now limping along. He's got blood spurting out of 2 of his parts of his torso where his limbs used to be. He's saying, "'Tis but a flesh wound," but at this moment, I think Clem's looking a little bit more like the king of this series as his supply lead grows, his supply load greeds. Me speak good English, definitely not mix up my letters at all. His supply load, that sounds kind of dirty, pig. Anyway, he does lose a command center to Solar, but I think it's just at this point Clem doesn't care too much because he's still got a planetary, he's still got a few orbitals up as well, 4 orbitals, and he's just got a giant army. So Clem is so focused on taking efficient fights, small backstabs, tactically going in, doing damage. He's still got mineral patches there, some mineral patches there. He's got a fresh orbital landed down here, which he's choosing to secure. And what do you have here as Solar? You have Lingbane, Lurker, Hydra. But the moment your economy's taken as much damage as it has in the last few minutes, it takes the pressure off Clem, and he's now able to play very defensively because he knows he doesn't need to dive onto Creeper into the Zerg territory. Those Lurkers taken a lot of damage. The Widowmine does decide to friendly fire the Ghost Medevac over there. A lot of units coming in on the Ghost of the Bio. The Ghost trying to fall back, though. This is one last ditch push for Solar. And he falls back, he snipes, he walks back, he pulls back, he moves and shoots, he moves and shoots. And at the end of the day, it's a couple of Hydras, an Overseer, and a sea of dead Zerg. And Clem's standing there with 4 times the army supply, double the economy. And he does come back and win that series, despite a very rough start to Game 3. GG, well played, Clem. You're a wizard, you're a freak. And none of us will ever be as good as you. GG, well played. Keep killing TVZ, mate.